Well, tonight I had a little survey on earlier about what's a good time to have an Ask Me Anything, and generally for every Ask Me Anything I'm going to have 3 topics lined up. There'll probably be 3 of the hottest topics for the week that have arisen inside of the group. I've also picked up a little something to kind of dampen for the microphone. Let me know if this works better for sound. If it doesn't, I'll go back to the drawing board. Tighten it up just a wee bit here. But I figured the first thing we would talk about is color seal. Does color seal really work? And I'd really love to hear your opinions. I'm going to go ahead and take my computer now and refresh the screen and bring myself up to the front. And I'd like to have your viewpoint of what you think of color seal and whether you think color sealing works. And then I'm going to give you my perspective on color seal because we've done a lot of it. We've done a lot of color seals. Matter of fact, we probably have some of the best color seal products in the industry. We've tested all the different brands against each other, and for the most part there's a lot of good brands, and then there's some really junky brands. And when I say junky brands, those are the ones you're going to be getting from the big box hardware stores. Stay away from those. Junk, don't hold up, don't last long at all. So if you're here, come on in and say hi to me if you would. Let me know if my sound is improved through this little dampener here. I'm hoping. Somebody said here color seal. I'll tighten it up just a wee bit more. Color seal equals money, 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 money. Yes, it does. There's no doubt about it. That's Matt Nichols. Hey, Matt, what's up, bud? Matt knows that color seal can make you some money. It really can. But my point is, there's been some big debate on the forums and in our group about whether color seal really works. And I'm going to give you my perspective in a couple of minutes, and we're going to cover 2 more topics. But I'd really like to know what's a good weeknight. Most people voted and said they'd like to have an Ask Me Anything once a week probably, or more, but at least once a week. And they'd like to have it on a weekday perhaps, and somewhere around 8 o'clock. So my question is, what weekday would be best for you? Okay? All right, I'm going to go ahead and tell you my perspective on color seal. Unless somebody else comes in here, I'm going to mention a couple names. Maybe I won't even mention the names. You know, there's just a couple of cleaners who feel like the color seal does not work. They've gone into homes and they start cleaning, and they start cleaning tile. Next thing you know, it's peeling up, and they're going crazy because they didn't recognize it at first. They got to go tell the client. Now they got to try to strip it all up. It just becomes a nightmare. So now all of a sudden it registers in their mind that color seal is bad. Every time they hear the word color seal, bad. Color seal is bad. Color seal is not bad. Color seal is actually very good, very profitable. But the key to color seal being profitable and to being good is proper cleaning and proper preparation. I'll give you, for example, suppose you're going to go ahead and paint a car. Right? All of us guys especially, some of the women can probably identify with this. You go take and paint a car and you paint it with debris on it, or if it's dirty, what's going to happen? That paint's going to come right off of that car. It's going to peel in different areas. That's why they have these booths, these dust booths, and nothing gets inside of there. They don't want any dust in there. They don't want any contaminants whatsoever. So if your color seal does not work, it's because you're using a cheap color seal, but more than likely it's because you didn't prep it and there's some contaminants on the floor. You didn't get it prepared properly, or maybe you didn't apply it properly. It could be any one of those 3 things right there. Really, it boils down to operator error. So if you don't like color seal, it's probably your problem, okay? Hate it when it comes out to clean and can't clean it, and half of it comes up easily. I agree, Vlad. Yeah, it's very frustrating, extremely frustrating. You know, I have to say the same thing. That's why it's very important to do a good walkthrough. Very important to do a demo and to do a test. And that way it's their problem and not your problem. You're going to have to set the expectation level. But you as a professional have to be able to recognize and even ask the proper questions. Mrs. Jones, how long you own the home? How long's tile and stone been there or grout? Have you ever had it color sealed? Do you know what color seal is? Have you ever had it sealed? You understand sealing. Then you can ask, has there been color sealed? Then you go do a little test to it and see if it has been color sealed. See if it comes up. A true, really good color seal is really pretty hard to identify because it really gets down inside the grout lines into the cement, holds well, and you can't even hardly recognize it. Really permeates it very well. So color seal is extremely profitable. It's a great service, and really you should be adding it to your repertoire if you know how to do it properly. And if you don't know how to do it properly, go to tmfacademy.com. Yes, a shameless plug. And I have a complete on-demand online class that walks you through all aspects of ID, cleaning, sealing, color sealing, all of that. It'll help you avoid a lot of headaches, and it'll make you a ton of money. It'll teach you to clear seal, teach you to color seal, teach you how to identify problems, how to record these problems, how to cover yourself, how to ID the proper stone or the proper products to use under the proper situations. All those make a big difference, and that's what's going to set you apart, because the more you know, the more you can charge. If you don't know that much, you can't charge that much, or you don't have that much confidence when you come across to the client. It's just not going to use you, or she's going to say, kind of hem and haw. If you're hemming and hawing, she's going to be hemming and hawing. Okay, so you need to know your service, and you need to know your service well. So tmfacademy.com, look up our tile, stone, and grout cleaning and sealing course. It's very reasonably priced, and I think we even get some grout master along with it. Can't go wrong with that, right? Okay, all right, what was the second subject? Do I sell any color seal of a lot? Yes, we do. We make our own, and we use it in our own company, but we're not as of yet selling it. But I would think by the end of this year, we'll definitely have it up on the market. Because, as I mentioned earlier, a good quality color seal makes a huge, huge difference. Because that cheap stuff just doesn't really get into the pores well of the cement, doesn't hold well. It's just low quality. So if you're getting a top dollar and you're charging people, and you should be charging people $1 to $2 a square foot additional from your cleaning, if you're charging that type of money, which is what we do, then you're going to have a good product. You have to do the proper preparation, and you want it to hold up and last. And it will. It really will. So, but I can help you. If anybody needs any color seal, let me know. As of right now, we've only been offering it to our school attendees, but I don't mind offering it to people, but it's not actually in the store as of yet. But I'm going to put it in the store. So, yes, it will be there, Balad. How you doing, John Henry? Okay. I'm going to go ahead and refresh this page, and then I'm going to pick up the next topic I'm going to cover. Okay, the first one was color seal. Now we're going to talk about end cap pricing. And generally, end cap pricing, you're generally talking about commercial work. Most of us end cap commercial work, or we're end capping high rises. Yes, there are some dedicated sole end cap cleaners out there who do nothing but encapsulation or VLM inside of homes, commercial, whatever they do, that's all they do. There's even some franchises that are based on VLM and encapsulation all alone. I feel like you need to have both. Ray says, what's up, Rob? The grout master is the best. Last agitation. Amen to that, Ray. Thanks a lot, pal. Spray it down in all the grout lines, then spray it all over the whole thing, wait 10 minutes, and no agitation, and go. But we like to bring in, Ray, we like to bring in our CRB, the 10-inch, for the dog and pony show. Okay, we want to go ahead and kind of make that impact upon the client. We don't want it to make it look too easy for the dollar we're charging. Okay, so back to end cap pricing. I'm going to talk about both. I feel like you could charge the regular price of what most people charge, 30 cents to 40 cents to 50 cents a square foot if you want to. If you want to sell it as dry cleaning, you probably even get easily 50 cents a square foot. That's up to you. But it's going to be more tedious, it's going to be more time consuming, and you really need to know the process well. Again, here comes another shameless plug. We have a VLM course on tmfacademy.com. Look that up. It goes through all three aspects. First, it teaches you the classroom. Then it goes into a school demo of all the different processes of the different types of machines that are out there, all different types, whether they're planetaries, whether they're rotaries, whether they're CRBs, counter rotating brushes, oscillating pad machines. We cover it all. Then we go out to a live job and we go ahead and give you a demonstration of it from start to finish with all the different types of equipment, and that way you can make your own decision. Just remember, it's more tedious and a little bit more work. Unlike hot water extraction, you just go in. Some stainless steamers kind of, well, let's just say the big companies have kind of proved that you can go in and just splash and dash, so to speak, and do a halfway good job. Can't splash and dash with a VLM, and I highly do not recommend splash and dash. I'm just saying some companies do it. I'm not going to mention names, so make sure that you have it going on there. So anyway, now let's get to commercial. Commercial's all over the place. And why is commercial all over the place? And even sometimes I can be a little bit all over the place, because I'm going to go in and try to ascertain their budget. I want to know what their budget is, first of all. Because you know what? If they don't have enough money to spend for me and my time, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to waste their time. They can't waste my time. I'm a professional. Okay? So generally, but what I'm going to price it when I go in there, it depends on the square footage. If I'm cleaning 50,000 square feet, I know some guys who go 5 cents, 10 cents, 15, even 20 cents a square foot, if they can get it. However, if you're cleaning 1,000 square feet, are you really going to go in there for 5 cents, 10 cents, or 15 cents a square foot? A lot of guys offer VLM on commercial settings, especially for CGD, which is commercial glue down on concrete, because they can be more competitive against the hot water extraction guys. So keep that in mind. But a lot of hot water extraction guys look at it as an interim cleaning. So they're going to hot water extract once a year, and then they're going to do the VLM or the encapsulation 3 times a year. So you've got to factor in how you're going to approach this job according to their budget, what they're willing to spend, and what you're willing to live with. But don't sell yourself short, because believe me, that's the one problem. And somebody mentioned about hotels and stuff like that. That's a big problem. Hotels, a lot of times, are cheap. A lot of commercial establishments are cheap. Why? Because they have budgets, and they generally can't go over those budgets, or they get in trouble. So that's why I don't do much commercial. But if you can position yourself correctly, you understand your CODB, cost of doing business, you keep your costs low, keep your labor costs low, keep your chemistry costs low, you make it very efficient, then perhaps you can make some decent money off of it. That's up to you. And that all boils back down to, again, what I said in the beginning about color sealing. You need to know your craft. You need to know your trade well. If you don't know your trade well enough, then you probably can't sell it well enough, or you can't sell it high enough. Learn that craft, okay? And we really appreciate you supporting our school versus other schools that are out there. There's big monopolies. We're just a father and son team, but I've got 35 years of experience. I know the craft inside and out, and I show you and I prove it and I back it up with 100% guarantee. Who else does that in the industry? And it's online, on demand. Watch it when you want to. TMFacademy.com. That's the VLM course, of course. All right, the third thing I want to talk about. Let's move down here to the third thing. Honesty. And why do I say honesty? Because somebody had brought up today that they had found some money under, I believe, a lamp or something in a commercial building, and it had been there for a while. And they turned it in, and when they turned it in, they didn't get a tip. And they kind of felt a little odd about that. However, I don't feel like you should be odd about that. I don't feel like you should expect to get a tip. Just remember, you're just putting, some people call it karma, some people call it good juju, whatever you want to call it. You're putting out a good vibe. That good vibe, by being honest and turning that money in there back to that commercial establishment, maybe they were testing you. Maybe they knew it was there all along. Maybe they had cameras. Maybe they wanted to know if they wanted to keep you around. Maybe they had some reason to question one of your employees or even yourself. And they used that to see if you truly were honest. You turned it in, you get to keep the account, and they renew with you. That is your tip. Your tip is that you did the honest and right thing, and good things are going to come back to you, because what you put out comes back to you in full measure. And I know we're not all perfect. We're not. But we want to put out a lot more good than we put out bad. So whenever you find something inside of a customer's home, always turn it in. I have found some tremendous amounts of money and valuables inside of homes, and I always put them somewhere, or if it's a lot of money, it was like I found under a chair before, I take it out to the customer and give it to them. One story somebody might recognize or remember that I said one time, I think I found, I can't remember if it's been so many years now, because I'm really not on the truck anymore. But I think it was close to $3,000 I had found pushed down in a sofa under the decking. I guess they call that the decking of the sofa, right? Under the cushions. I think it's called the decking, yeah. So back in there, you know, you kind of get back in there. When I pre-vacuum, I like to get back in there. If I find change, I'll take the change and set it up on a coffee table or an end table. And then I'll point it out to the client at the end of the day. So anyway, I'm in this elderly woman's house. I'm cleaning her sofa, and I feel something back in there, and it felt like paper or plastic. I couldn't tell what. And so I pulled it out, and when I did, it had a lot of money in it. 50s, hundreds, or whatever. It's just really thick. I didn't know what it was and how much it was, and I didn't want to think about it. So I went ahead and I took it to the homeowner who was in the kitchen. She was an elderly woman, I'm guessing, gosh, 70s, 80s, somewhere around there. And I gave it to her. I said, Mrs. Jones, I don't know if you realize, I'm just making that name up, by the way. I said, I found this money under your sofa. She said, that's not my money. Kind of took me by surprise a little bit. Apparently I took her by surprise. She said, that's not my money. I can't take that. I said, ma'am, I just found this money. It's not my money. I can't keep it. I'm just going to put it right here, okay? All right? I'm going to put it right here because I found it in your sofa, and, you know, I'm going to go ahead and go back to work. I was as gentle as I possibly could be, right? So I go back in there and go to work, and a little unbeknownst to me, I guess she was married, her husband comes in, and he says hi and stuff like that. He goes inside the kitchen. He's talking to her. I hear him talking. I'm just cleaning, but you can't hear a whole lot over it. They walked back in the room, and they were profusely thanking me, and she was literally almost crying. She might have been crying, if I can recall correctly. It's been so long ago, probably been 20 years ago. And he said he had been saving that for their 50th wedding anniversary to take a large cruise. So, you know, you can feel good about that. And they didn't offer me a tip. I didn't even want a tip. I wouldn't even have took a tip if they gave it to me. You know, so what's wrong with the mentality of people today when they feel like they find something, some money, they feel like they should get some money back in return? You know, you're going to get a reward. You know, if you're spiritual, you'll get that reward, you know, at the end of the days. If you're just believing just good vibes around the planet, then you're going to get some good back from you because you're constantly putting it out. You know? So always be honest. That's all I can say. Always be honest, and that's always the best way to go. You break something inside of a home, let the client know about it. Okay? If you do something, you know, if they ask you a question and they ask you about something, be honest about it. Be straightforward. It's very important. Honesty is always the best policy, especially when it comes to the cleaning business. And that's any business, whether it's personal or not, okay? All right, so we reviewed three things. Let's just go ahead and cover that. Number one, please don't forget to help me come up with a day of the week that is best for you guys to have an Ask Me Anything session. I don't mind doing these. Matter of fact, I enjoy it. I set up the studio here, and I've got it set up, and I actually enjoy it a lot. So, and it's my way of giving back. I've been 35, 36 years in this industry now. I've owned Truckmountforums for the last decade. We've got over 2 million posts over there, so it's a huge conglomerate of information, like a huge library. We've got 2 million posts. We've got about 80,000 visitors from around the planet that come there, and we've got a good small group of people who engage in discussion. Then we've got the Facebook group here. We've got almost, what, 14,000 people. So that's really good, and lots of posts every day. So we can all learn from that. Remember, iron sharpens iron. And then I've got the YouTube channel. If you don't mind, please subscribe to that. It really helps. YouTube, Truckmountforums. That really helps us a lot and helps you too, hopefully, to learn every new video that pops up that we do. It'll help you. We have TMF Academy. And so all those things right there were designed to educate cleaners around the world so you can be a better cleaner, you can make more money, and be more successful. And so you've made me very successful through tmfshop.net and other things, and buying our chemistry, from buying our parts and items and stuff like that. And I'm truly thankful. In any way I can give back to help you guys even more so, I'll be glad to. We just started up the store stuff just a little while ago, a year or so ago. So we had a decade of under our belt of giving back to the industry and helping people. Okay, here we go. We got a question here. Hope you got a good review at least. Ha, Matt. You know, Matt, I don't think they even had Google reviews 20 years ago, did they? correct me if I'm wrong. I have to go back. It might have been 20, 25 years ago. Yeah, I don't think they had Google reviews back then. Oh, that's a good one right there. Okay, Eric Silva said, what's a good beginner's motor to start carpet cleaning with? Do you mean a machine, I presume? I think you would need, if we're talking about a machine, I think you're talking about a machine instead of a motor. And, you know, I would start off with at least a strong enough portable. And, you might want to spell check that, double check that, see if you meant motor, whether you meant machine, or whether you meant a truck mount. And make sure I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Heraclio Silva. What's a good beginner's motor to start carpet cleaning with? I think you mean a machine, and it can either be, look for a used truck mount. That's probably ideal if you're trying to, you know, save some money. Look for a used truck, maybe a used van with low miles or a good history on it. You know it runs good. Prefer a 2500 or a 3500. Look for yourself for an inexpensive truck mount, or try to find the whole combo package. One thing you'll find is truck mounts sell pretty cheap in the wintertime, because a lot of guys can't make it, so they'll end up turning around and selling it and get a good value at that time. So, you know, check out our TMF, what is it, buy, sell, and trade page. There's always truck mounts there for sale, and also portables. If you're going to go with a portable, I think you need something, to me, in my opinion, something that delivers at least 500 psi. You know, we sell the Nautiluses, and they're just beast machines. They're fantastic machines. So a Nautilus is a great unit to go with. And I'd go with the 500, maybe the MXE 500. Go with more vacuum. Vacuum is more important than heat, to me. I know some people are going to debate that. You can always heat the water up. But with the good chemistry like we have today from TMF, you don't need all that heat anymore. So you can really get by with some good agitation. Keep it that way. Okay. Yes, truck mount machine. And it's Eric Leo. Okay. Eric Leo. Okay. Sorry about that. Doing the best I possibly can there. A truck mount. You know, I like the El Diablos, especially the heat exchanger version. We sell those. Be glad to hook you up with one. We can put one in the truck for you. But really, you know, all the big names are basically decent machines. If you're going to buy a used one, just make sure you got a service history on it. Make sure it's in good shape. Take it to a local distributor or buy it from your local distributor. Let's see, Carrie's got here. How much room is in a Nissan NV with equipment? It seems small. Yeah, I mean, compared to some of those big beast Euro vans, yeah, I guess it is kind of small, you know, Carrie, but I just love the ride of it. I love the fact you can open the hood and get to everything on the motor. I like having all that out in front of me right there, hopefully for safety reasons, but they just drive so smooth. I love them. If you need more room, why don't you go with a high top, Carrie? But you're not going to get the same space. Now, but that's why I try to use space-saving items. I like to have, you know, a fresh water tank up under my machine and stuff like that. But how much stuff you really need to carry? I mean, we carry a lot of stuff on our NVs. We've got, you know, CRB. We've got a swivel wand. We've got a small rotary. We've got the claw. And then we've got our chemistry. We've got our corner guards. You know, we've got our matting, our different tools, you know, our towel tool. It holds all that. It's a little bit tight, but if you organize it properly, it's not that bad. I would love to have high tops, Carrie. The only problem is in the city of Virginia Beach, they exempt only a few people. You can't have a truck that's over 7 feet tall inside of a neighborhood, unless it's a delivery truck like UPS or Federal Express. Go figure, right? So they're kind of strict about that. If somebody called about us, or if any of my technicians took it home, we can get fined for that. So for the most part, we don't have the high tops. We just have the regular size. And they're easy to drive. You can get through a drive-through too, right? So that's kind of cool. Does that answer your question, Carrie? I tell you what, Carrie, and I have the 1500, a 2500, and I have a 3500. I love the 3500, and I really like the 2500 a lot. And the 1500, I drove it today to go put a new tire on it. We've gotten a nail on the side of it. So much construction going around our area. And, you know, it drove great. For a 1500 with all that weight in there, it's kind of surprising how good it goes. But I really like the 3500, and I like the S model. The S model, I forgot what it stands for, but it's pretty loaded. It has everything, you know. And it has the electrical package with it. The S model with the electrical package is what I like. Okay, cool. Glad to hear that, Karen. The S model with the electrical package has power windows, It has, you know, air conditioning, has power locks. It has the on the 120 volts. Okay, so if you want to plug something in, if you're at a house, need some more power, plug that bad boy in, you go to town with it. I like that. Think about putting a peak 501. Yeah, I don't see why that'd be a problem at all, Carrie. And if it's okay in your area, get the high top. Why not? I mean, you can stack shelves up there and you can walk around in the thing. Put some shelves left, shelf right. If I was an owner-operator today, I would get a high top 3500 Nissan NV. No doubt. No doubt. I really wish you could put a direct drive in one of them. I really wish. I wish that Nissan was a little more direct drive friendly. But unfortunately, they're not. Why are you going with the Peak, Carrie? It's a great unit. I'm just asking, why are you going with the Peak? And what do you have right now? Eric Leo, did I answer your question properly or good enough for you, bud? If you're going to buy a new one, hey, buy the El Diablo heat exchanger version. I like the diesel one too. But some people don't like the dual fuels. I know I don't really have time for it. But the heat exchanger version, they really got it dialed in. It's a bad little boy. We used it today. Went out and sampled the new product that we're making. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but sampled a new product, and it really performed well, to say the least. Okay, I'm almost at the 30-minute mark. Some people had mentioned 15 minutes, 30 minutes, and an hour for these. So that's the different things we have. But it seems like we get more people on the weekends commenting and able to come in. I'm going to see if I can, last time I was able to edit this. 460 FM is 6K cheaper than the 570. Hey, well, Carrie, that kind of puts it in the 405 range, right? The 405 was a bad machine, man. To me, it's a classic. What engine comes in that? 460 FMs. That's pretty strong, man. I love the 405. It's bad to the bone. What a great machine. And Nissan was so quiet. I'd like to know what engine comes with that, Carrie, for that 400. Villan, how long before you sell your truck mount van setup? Wow, we really like that system so much. We're thinking about, well, we have been just keeping it for ourselves. It's pretty bad to the bone. El Diablo has fire problems. I've never seen one catch fire. Never. And if anybody's got their finger on the pulse of the industry, it's me. I think, Eric Lowe, I think you're thinking about another brand out there, and I'm not going to mention it. Another brand that copied them, okay? And they didn't really do it as well. But I've never heard of an El Diablo ever burning up. Ever. Got to give him that much credit. It is well built. And the owner is a great person, so he's very careful about what he does and what he puts out. And he's got it dialed in. He only makes 2 units. It's the same machine. One's a diesel, or you can use kerosene in it if you want to. And the other one is the heat exchanger version. They're both dialed in. He's been making it for so long, he's got them down pat. I've never heard of a fire. Absolutely not. Nope, 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 nope. You'd have to show me that. And I've got my finger on the pulse of the industry by owning Truckmountforums, the Facebook page, YouTube. Every day I'm immersed in this, and I've never seen one at all. But lots of other machines I have seen catch on fire. Okay. Let's see. He has Carrie says he has a Rage and a Blue Line Thermal Wave HP currently. Okay. The Blue Line was a pretty good machine too. A Kawasaki 31. Ooh, that's not bad. Kawasaki, when you're talking Japanese engines, you're talking my language. You know? Kohlers, loud, air-cooled. Not a fan of them. I just went with it because of space. But if it was up to me, liquid-cooled Japanese, baby. Nothing beats it. And I'm sure that Kawasaki, I'll tell you what, I rode some Kawasaki motorcycles in my day and time. I owned several of them, from dirt bikes to cruisers. And I love them. Can't kill them. Just like that Nissan, probably can't kill it. It's like a good machine. And you said it's what, $6,000 cheaper? Yeah, that's a pretty good price, man. See where you're going with it, then. It's only a great unit. And didn't they change the face of it and stuff? Don't they have some type of lighting on it that makes it look kind of cool, too? Hey, makes you feel better, makes the customer feel better. She thinks she's getting a better job, right? But that's a good amount of CFMs. I like that. 406 CFMs. It's funny they didn't say 405 CFMs. Maybe they didn't want it to sound like the Performer 405, I'm guessing. Interesting. It sounds to me like almost a remake of it, though. Lewis, I have the Peak GTX. And what engine's in that Louise, and are you happy with it? What engine's in the Peak GTX? And what size blower? How many CFMs? I'm curious. Oh, the older model? Okay. So I'm guessing the Peak is under the Legend. Am I right about that? Does it start? It gets a little confusing. I really don't think they should have so many models. To me, I think it's all these truck mount manufacturers. There's not much of a difference. You know, boy, that's a touchy subject. We should save that for another day. How I feel about all the different types of models on the market and how they're not exactly honest with us with the numbers when it comes to CFMs, heat, and things of that nature. I definitely want to delve into that. As a matter of fact, I keep a little record here. Let's talk about that in one of my future ones. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and mark that in there. It's going to be talking about why so many model truck mounts and numbers really accurate. Yeah, I'm saving that right there. Yep. You know, the machine's important. Well, let's face it, the person's more important than the machine. I mean, God knows I could clean with a rug doctor. You know what I mean? If I'm going to use a CRB, some TMF chemistry, you know, I can go out and some air movers. I can go out and clean with a rug doctor. Now, is it going to take me forever? Absolutely. No doubt about it. Do I want to do it? Absolutely not. You know, but as a professional, you could probably pull it off, but you don't want to, okay? Because it's all about speed, time, and efficiency. And we're in a race against time because time is money. You know, the more jobs we do, or the more we can get to, the more money we can make. And the sooner we get done, the less work on our own bodies, right? So if you've got a truck mount and it's all set up and it's very efficient, that's another thing we should talk about another day. I'm going to talk about efficiency and how to be more efficient. So anyway, I'm saving these topics right here and we'll talk about them at a later date. Anthony Sparks says, makes sense. Explain to me what makes sense, Anthony. I appreciate that, but you guys might have to be a little more in depth for me so I can kind of figure out what you're talking about. Unless you're talking about the water-cooled and the Kawasaki engines, or unless you're talking about one of the subjects we talked about earlier, which was color seal, does it really work? In-cap pricing and honesty. And we covered all three of those. And then we kind of delved off over here into the other. Could somebody tell me how my sound is with this new mic I've got hooked up? Some people have said it sounded a little bit tinny to them or a little boxy because of the large size room that I'm in, that I set this studio up in. John says that, I guess I'm hoping the thumbs up is for the sound, that it sounds good. Oh, efficiency, yeah. Man, I'm a big believer, Anthony, in efficiency. And I don't want to delve into it too far here because I'll save that for the next one. And we can maybe share some tips and ideas. I've got lots of tips and tricks for being as efficient as possible. And it just makes your life a whole lot easier. You know, why do things twice? Why do them 3 times? I see cleaners do it all the time. You know, there's a walk right by and do something where they could have did 1 or 2 things or 3 things in one trip and they didn't even realize it. You know, or the equipment that they have is not very efficient, or the tools they have is not very efficient, or it's not running up to proper efficiency because they're not maintaining it, or they're just not using it properly. So all those things make a difference. Carrie said it sounds fine. Cool. All right. Well, I'm definitely not going to go over an hour, but I'll probably end up editing this and putting this on YouTube, so we can talk about, you know, because basically what we talked about was the color seal, the in-cap pricing, and honesty. So hope everybody got something from that. Let me see if I can see the picture here. I'm going to pull this up. So I can see the picture going on in the background. Yeah, you know, I also adjusted my lights. A couple of people have said when the lights were actually glaring off my glasses. These are anti-glare glasses, but unfortunately I think I cleaned them wrong a couple times. Kind of like cleaning a carpet. Okay, Michael, I'd like to hear that question. Kind of like cleaning a carpet with the wrong chemistry. If you're using anything above 10 pH on a stain resistant carpet, what happens? Pulls that and completely destroys the protector on it, okay? And you ruin somebody's warranty. Be careful, because I know carpet inspectors who go out and you can get into a lot of trouble for it. So make sure it's not under warranty anymore, okay, before you go out with a high pH. Or use some BioPro 10K. I call it 10K because it's 10 pH and less. Usually it's 9.5 to be exact. Okay, etched travertine from a magic eraser, white haze. What would be the best fix? Ouch. That's a very good question. Etched travertine from a magic eraser. I'd like to see a picture of it. If it was me, I would probably get my little Makita and maybe a hog's hair and maybe a little bit of polish, or maybe even some sandpaper, some very, very fine grit. I have to look at the numbers that we have. Maybe a super fine grit. And let's see if I can get this here. There we go. Okay, maybe get some super fine grit, right? And go ahead and work your way up. So kind of work your way into the stone just slightly, but keep it real level. Because if you don't keep it very level, Michael, you're going to end up getting some warp or some lines in there. So keep it nice and level and work your way up, and only go as deep as you need to go. You know, I'd just maybe try hog's hair. I've never tried to work my way backwards on grit and go as fine as necessary until I see it, and then go more coarse as necessary, I should say, until it's gone. But I'd probably ask somebody like Stu Rosen just to make sure. I'll be glad to ask him. John Paul, should I get a CRB or a rotary machine? First, I've been using S1 for 3 years. Should I get a CRB or a rotary machine? Wow. You know, CRBs are all the rage. Rotaries, nothing's going to out-clean a rotary. I know these guys can say these wands with wheels, whether zippers, bonzers, 615s, you name it, or swivel wands, which I love, by the way. It's not going to out-clean a rotary. Sure, no problem, Michael. If I can help you anymore, let me know. But I'll look for Stu Rosen. He's with MB Stone. He can help you, walk you through that real easily. He's just a great person. Okay? And but that's how I did it. We actually had one of our guys take a CRB and drag it accidentally across a polished travertine. So I went out there and sanded and sanded and sanded very lightly, keeping it nice and level. And then I polished and polished and polished, just using a Makita until I got it back where I wanted. And it worked, okay. Michael Malone's got a CRB, then you can end cap. Well, I don't think it's an end cap standalone, but yeah, you can definitely do it. I would say probably the CRB first. And then I would go with the rotary second. You know, they're just two different animals. However, think about this. If you get a rotovac with the brushes on it, you can use it for pre-scrubbing just like you're pre-scrubbing with a CRB. So that's pretty cool. The main thing is, make sure you buy it from us. We'll hook you up with a deal and get throwing a few things with you. But we're going to be honest with you. And if you want to give me a phone call, I'll be glad to talk more about it, John. But I do think probably the CRB would probably be a better choice in the beginning, because you can get it really, you know, you can agitate your pre-spray real well, and then that way you can just follow back up with your wand or something of that nature. On our trucks, for the most part, we're going to go in there. Very seldom we bring in a rotary, but we do bring it in on some really rat nasties, especially on some traffic patterns or some transitions. Suppose we've got something coming out of a kitchen, that transition there, maybe in front of a sofa, maybe down a hallway. We're going to clean it with the rotary, okay? But I know a lot of guys will just CRB it, and then they'll go and clean it with their wand, and that's fine. But you can CRB it, and then go over with a rotary, and then go over with your wand. And I'll tell you what, that's beast. Then you can take your rotary and throw a white pad on it. I'm sorry, a cotton bonnet over that area, because you clean so much extra. Get it dry, you don't ever have to worry about wicking. Even though with our products, if you're using our rinse, it has some encapsulant built in it, you don't have to worry about the wicking. I think we covered a lot right there, right? Hopefully to answer your question, John. I guess I'd go with the CRB. I guess the question is what size you want to go with. So, you know, you can go with a 10, 15, or a 20. And I think we even have 17s. We have all the ranges, and we have them made from all different places too. So, something to keep in mind. All right, I'm definitely going to cut this at an hour, and we're about 45 minutes right now. If there's any more questions, feel free to come in and ask. I'm going to edit this too when I'm done of what we were talking about here. What's really crazy is when you do these live videos, is that you've only got a few minutes to answer the questions, because when people ask a question, it scrolls down, and you can only see 4 or 5 different comments. So you really got to be on the ball a bit when you answer these questions pretty quick, man. I don't know why Facebook does that, but it is what it is. So if I don't answer your question in a thread when we do these, I'll definitely answer them for you later on, either that day or night or the next day. I'll answer your question. And you can always message me. You can always call me if need be too. Or call our 800 number, I should say first and foremost. Haven't heard much about Kick Acid lately or Reefer Rid. What's up with them? Haven't been pushed hard. They actually sell very well. We used the Reefer Rid today, as a matter of fact. We were in a house today, and we were testing out a new product. I took my rug guy with me, Brian, rug and shop guy, and we tested out a new product. I had him clean the whole house, man. It cleaned great. And as I was talking to the customer, I mentioned to him that the house had a little bit of a smell, and he said, well, but it wasn't a pet smell. We'd done the walkthrough, we used the UV light, and there was no pet odor, right? So he mentioned, well, they were kind of smokers. I said, well, I got the perfect product called Reefer Rid. Sold them on the job, boom, made some extra great money right then and there. So never leave money on the table. I said, I've got something perfect for it. It works great. It's going to smell good. When are these people moving in? It was property manager. He said tomorrow. I said, look, this house is going to be smelling wonderful when they come tomorrow. It's going to make that great impact, and they'll probably stay there longer. So, okay, cool, let's do it. Okay. All right, Vlad, is there's an alkaline haze on tile, just dry passes with a 175 and a white pad or a red pad? Yes. Yes, you could easily do that. That's all you got to do. Or you can go back and reclean it. The only reason you're going to have an alkaline haze is there's a couple of reasons. Number one is if you use something like Grout Master or any alkaline product, you overheated the product if you use Grout Master. If you use your courtesy hose from your truck mount, then you're using 200 degrees. Remember, Grout Master is 3 products in one. So what happens is they all separate, and then you're going to get a little bit of haze. It's going to dry too fast on you. So you don't want it to dry too fast. Keep it wet, keep it damp. Only work maybe 200, 300, 500 square feet at a time, as much as you can do while you can still keep it wet, and rinse it well, and you'll never have a haze. We never have a haze anymore. I mean, we had it once or twice when we first started. We figured out what it was. It's a fantastic product, but you don't want it to dry. That's the same thing with people say, well, maybe that shouldn't happen. No, it's going to happen with a good product. If you've got an alkaline cleaner that you're cleaning some carpets with and you leave some in there, you're leaving a haze, you're leaving some residue. The carpets aren't going to look bright, and they're going to resole fast. But that was your fault because you didn't rinse it well enough. Or you didn't keep your pre-spray wet. Everybody knows if you let your pre-spray dry, you're going to have a problem with it. Okay, so don't let your tile or your carpet pre-spray dry. It's that simple. And don't overheat it too much. And if you do end up with some haze, just re-clean it. Go back in with some Grout Master at half the dilution ratio, maybe 1 ounce a gallon, re-hit it, or go back with a 175, a white pad or a red pad, go right over top of it, and that way you can just kind of raise it right off the surface. Shouldn't be any problem for you, Okay, let's see here. Hopefully the sound was good. We'll just see how much time we have left now. We've been up to almost 45 minutes now. So I'm going to scroll down here and take a look at any other threads. Ethan, Dell, at what point do you just say burn it? Man, that furniture is nasty looking. I guess if the client really wants it and you're getting paid good enough, go for it. But that is some of the nastiest furniture I have ever seen. Let's see, somebody said here, coming on down, see what else is on the threads. What's the feedback on Unchained and its success? I tell you what, we're having fantastic success with Unchained. And it doesn't have that chemical smell. It's really good, safe, high quality product that we guarantee 100%. You'll be very happy. And the Sweet Breeze is just unbelievable. Unbelievable. The scent to it. Clients rave about it. Rave about it. I'm not just talking about clients that we put inside of homes, but I'm talking about carpet cleaning clients who buy it from us. Oh, and then there's that picture of the guy on the ladder with the buckets under it. Good Lord. Well, it looks like about a 20-foot ladder. He's changing a light or something with buckets under it. Terrible, 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 terrible. I want to tell you what. There is a pressure wash friend of mine in the area, and he was on a 20-foot ladder doing some pressure washing and fell. And he had hundreds of stitches in his head and his face. I mean, he was like Humpty Dumpty. They had to put him back together again. He broke his neck. He broke his arm. he's just pretty jacked up. Lucky he's not paralyzed or dead. So when it comes to ladders, safety should always be foremost. I can't overemphasize that. So if there's any more comments, scroll back up here to it. How the heck does OxyFresh clean grout without a truck mount? Haha. Yeah, the problem is you're leaving that in there, and you can't leave that stuff in there. You know, you're going to damage the grout. Remember, it's just nothing but cement, and you sure don't want to be using that really on natural stone if you could avoid it. So I hear you. Let's see. How does OxyFresh do it? Yeah, I know, that's true. Oh, I know what you're talking about now. You're talking about, I thought you were talking about OxyClean. OxyFresh is using just a CRB. Huh. No idea. That's a good one, Michael. I have no idea how they could do it. Man, you might have me stumped on that one. I'm going to have to find out. There's a few cleaners on our board who have OxyFresh franchises. My thought would be is they must scrub it in, they maybe fall back with a 175 and a bonnet to kind of absorb it. Some absorber pads. I mean, if I had an OxyFresh and I was VLM and I was going to do it, I would spray down the Grout Master. I would mop it up with a bucket a little bit and kind of dilute it, and then I'd follow back with some wet bonnet absorber pads like on a Haas Orbot Vibe. You know? Oscillate pad that sucker right out of there. I bet it looked good. I bet it would work. But what a pain in the butt. Compared to a truck mount and a spinner, right? Thanks, but no thanks. Don't want to do that. Alright, so we've got about 10 more minutes left here. I'm going to scroll down, see what other things we came up with here today that were talked about last couple of days. Oh, I see Paul Granados is getting a wrap on his little truck. I'm guessing that's a little Ford. Is that a Transit? I don't know what you call them. I'm not really familiar with the domestics, but it looks to me like a little Ford. I'm guessing they're calling the Transits, the little smaller versions, almost like a little minivan. And he's getting it wrapped, he said. To me, I think since the van looks so clean, it almost doesn't have to go with a full wrap. If you want to save some money, Paul, go with a half wrap. Go with a 3/4 wrap. Probably what I do. Because that van in that white is clean enough. I don't think you need to do it. Alright. Any other topics that came up today that were hot topics? Some nice looking wraps in there, though, I admit. Some nice looking wraps. Chip Garber mentioned that all the CDS units in this area, they leave the hoods open. Hey, speaking of CDS, anybody notice that HydroMaster's been sold? Now that's going to be interesting. How's that going to affect their truck mounts? How's that going to affect their X-Drive? Their tools and stuff like that. There's a lot of HydroMaster items and products and tools and equipment that I like. And hopefully that'll stay there, maybe probably improve with the extra money coming through. You know, but I thought that was interesting that they sold. I tell you, a lot of these companies are being bought out, aren't they? It's not taking long. You look at Bridgepoint being bought out by Aramco. Legend Brands buys out ProChem. Looks like everybody wants their monopoly, don't they? You know, and that's just my opinion. You know, I guess everybody wants to be the biggest. They want to be the best, and they want to have the most options, I suppose. I don't know where it's going to go from here with all these acquisitions. They continue to acquire all these companies, and it looks like we're going to end up with maybe 2, maybe 3 big companies by the time it's done with. It's going to be interesting. It'll be very interesting. Alright, scrolling down here again. Actually, I'm going to refresh my page if you guys will hold on a second. Refreshing the page where Mike Pollock made a comment. Here we go. Got to scroll down to get to the bottom of it. Yikes. They are ragging on Paul. Look at Mike Pollock. He's saying basically that he's got the Scooby-Doo van. That's kind of funny. And clean carpet's $5 a room. Yeah, somebody's doing some Google search in there real quick. That's for sure. Paul, my best advice to you, Paul, 3/4 wrap. Why spend the money for a full wrap? And I think a 3/4 wrap is nice because it leaves the front of the truck nice and white. It looks new. Kind of all just kind of goes right in there. Rob, you selling the steamer soon? I don't think so. No, I don't think so. You know, I don't see that happening. I never even thought about it, to be honest with you. That's kind of funny. I'm enjoying what I'm doing. My son's runs basically the whole operation. I just go in for an hour or two, generally for the most part. And then I come home, do my thing. and do a lot of research, studying, playing golf, different things like that, you know. I put my 35 years in of hard labor, you know, so building my own local company, building Truckmountforums, yet I still enjoy what I'm doing. So that's why I've set up this whole studio here. I hope you guys like it. I went with the steam engines back there because I was, as I mentioned before, that the first truck mounts, I gotta find that picture so you guys can see it. I'll put it up so you can understand why. Maybe I'll put it up in one of the videos sometime, but I'll start a thread on it and show you. This looks like a locomotive, something that will go right down the train tracks. And maybe that's how they got it around today. I don't know. I'm sure it's where they kind of got the idea, though, a steam locomotive. I really like to know more about the actual history, but seeing that one unit kind of inspired me. I thought it was kind of cool. Selden Stanley Steamer, I don't think so. I don't think so. Nothing against Stanley Steamer. These guys are great. What can I say bad about Stanley Steamer? I mean, they are a marketing company that happens to clean carpets. They started off cleaning carpets, and their history is really rich. If you go back, yeah, and they're very rich too on top of it. I think the grandson owns it now, and he's definitely banking. And good for him, you know. His great grandfather got it going, kept it in the family. More power to him, you know. And I'm hoping that they'll step their game up. But then again, if they step the game up too much, what's going to happen to us? You know, one thing that sets us apart as owner-operators is the fact that we can offer that personalized, higher level quality of service. What's up, Ken? Need alerts to these via text if possible, not on Facebook all the time. Yeah, that's a good point, Ken. What if I could do that somehow? I'll ask my son. Let me see if I can tag him in here. Thanks for that point, Ken. Let's see. Let's see if I can tag him in here. Sometimes I can't even tag my own son. That's just the way Facebook works sometimes, right? RobAllen third. We need a way to tag and alert for live broadcast. Just by the way, Ken, I'm figuring on doing this once a week. You know, one special, you know, 1 or 2 nights a week, and just go ahead and make it where people will know that we're on and then count on it being during that time. So I think that'll help. I can even announce it, maybe even do a little a thread on it and let people know what night I'll be doing it once a week. But that's going to be an Ask Me Anything once a week. At least once a week. Wouldn't bother me doing it once a night, but I don't want to, you know, too much RobAllen is probably not a good thing. Even for me. But, you know, I enjoy doing it. I enjoy answering questions, and I enjoy giving back, and I enjoy helping other cleaners. And I look forward to many more of these sessions where we can talk about advertising, we can talk about, you know, processes, we can talk about diverse services, equipment, tools, chemistry, the whole gamut. You know, we just continue to bring these up, and plus you guys can ask me some questions. Great idea. Same bat time, same bat channel. True that, Ken. Hey, Ken, I hope you and your family are doing well, pal. Yep. Always enjoy hearing from you. We got to catch up again. But yeah, I agree with that. We need a set night. I just need everybody's help to determine what is a good set night. 8 o'clock works great for me. 8 to 9 o'clock. You know, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover the main subjects. I'm going to have 3 different topics, like I did tonight. We had the 3 topics were, number 1 was color seal. Does it really work? Number 2 was encapsulation pricing, and number 3 was honesty. So I'm going to have 3 topics, which I can cover for like 15 minutes, and then after that, just open it up, and we can ask me anything after that point, and just kind of have a drink and hang out and go over anything. What's up, Octavio? How you doing, my man? But Ken, I like that idea. Same time, same channel. Yeah. Ken, give me an idea. What's a good time? What's a good night? 8 o'clock, when everybody kind of voted on it, they all kind of voted and said 8 o'clock was really good for them. Which probably makes it about, what, 5 o'clock on the West Coast. Hopefully that works for the West Coast people. But let me know what's best for you. I'm going to go ahead and bump that. Let me find that thread. I got about 5 more minutes, guys. Let's see. Let me find that thread and bump it. Here we go. Yeah, most people, I'm here. I had live. Is there any time you prefer? 1 day a week, each evening? How long? Most people said weekly. 8 p.m. and a weekday night. I need to know what weekday nights you guys prefer. I need to know what? Cancel? What that? It logged me out for some reason. Guess I pushed the wrong button. I guess I just need, let me see if I can bump that thread before I close out here. Somebody put Thursday or Friday night, I think. That's Ken. Thursday or Friday night. Friday night at 8. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is great, Octavia says. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. Where are you located, Octavia? And let me scroll back down here and bump this thread so you guys can kind of help me out with it. Here we go. Here's right here. Wednesday. I'm game for any night. Just let me know. Okay, that's bumped. Ken, if you see that, take a look at that thread. I'd appreciate it. I bumped it up. You know what's kind of funny, and I want to mention this again before I close out, that Facebook's kind of funny with their algorithm, and it kind of irritates me because sometimes Raleigh by Sunbelt, aka Interlink, yeah, right. Hey, there's another acquisition. I forgot all about that. Sunbelt was big, man. Now they've been bought out by Interlink, really by Aramco, but it's called Interlink, right? Okay, because that's their division. So the point I was going to make, oh yeah, about the Facebook algorithms, and I'm going to close this out here because it's almost been an hour. 55 minutes I've been at right now, it tells me here. 55 minutes, so I want to stop at an hour. Algorithms. Sometimes a lot of Facebook's trying to determine, even in groups, what's important to you and what's not. It kind of irritates me. I want to see all the threads. So if you come to the group and you scroll down, you look at different threads, that's one thing. Well, here's a cool little tip. You can actually go to the regular, your regular feed, click on it, and then almost lots of threads that you don't see, Facebook shows you to try to entice you to go back to the group. I'm going like, man, just put them all in one place. But they're working us, okay? So keep that in mind. And they're working you. And so you can work them back. The way to do it is look through the group. You can refresh the page on the group. And then you can just go to your regular feed. Click on just the Facebook square symbol top left. Go to your regular feed. Go through your feed and you'll see a lot of threads that you missed. Thanks, Facebook. Thanks, but no thanks, right? Kind of funny how that is. Okay, we got 2.5 minutes. Let's see here. I'll tell you, they did not want to install my TNT. That's why I'm selling it since I have the NV2500. Are you selling? Oh, are you selling the NV, or are you gonna buy another truck, or are you gonna buy a different truck mount? I'm guessing you're selling it since you have. They did not want to install my TNT, so I guess you had a TNT. And you had the Nissan, I'm guessing? Help me out here, Octavia. I'm curious. Well, let's face it, Interlink is not going to do some kind of things. Hopefully you talked to Les Judson about it and got his opinion on it. But I would think being Interlink, they're probably going to go by the book because it's such a large organization, and they're going to go ahead and put the unit in the recommended vehicle. Especially, they're going to want to probably have a belly tank for your gas tank. Buy a different truck mount. Okay, I got you. Well, you shouldn't have a problem selling the TNT. Is it used? Or is it a new TNT? And you can put it here and also on the TMF buy, sell, and trade page too. Shouldn't have a problem selling it, Buy a different truck mount. Yeah, what are you going to buy too? Alright guys, we got 1 minute left. I really appreciate all your support. Remember, we're a father and son team. We built this from scratch, and we truly appreciate all your support. Top 10 things we repeat purchased read by Rob Third was interesting. Was any top 10 list. Okay, I like that, Ken. I like that. That's a good one. They spoke less as well, and they will not do it since I have the new NV2500 2018. I don't understand that. What a beautiful truck, too, man. 2500 2018. Look, why not an El Diablo? Have you thought about that? They sell the El Diablos there. You get that. Or, I don't know if I would go with, I think they sell Sapphires and Pro Chems there too. I'd probably lean towards the Pro Chem, even the same company owns both of them. but I'd probably lean towards the Pro Chem because they've been around longer and they're test tried and proven. Maybe an Everest. You know, I guess I don't know what you want out of the machine, but if you really want a lot of power and stuff, probably an Everest or something of that nature might be your best bet. Okay, Ken, I'll definitely work on that, bud. Yeah, I'm going to look for the best threads each week, and we'll take those threads and we'll break them down. I like that. It's kind of what I do anyway. I could do it every day. It wouldn't bother me to do this every night, just about. I just don't know how you guys will feel about it. Maybe RobAllen overload. But, you know, a lot gets said every day. There's a lot to talk about. We can kind of break it down. Remember what I said before? Iron sharpens iron. Which Pro Chem you recommend under 25K? I like the Apex. Apex, I mean, everybody has an Apex, loves them. I don't know what they're going for these days. They're going for too much. I do know that much. And there's not enough differences between them to warrant the differences in the prices they're asking for, in my opinion. And I have some opinions about it, but I'm going to try to keep those opinions to myself for right now. And we'll talk about that another day. I think I actually mentioned that we're going to have, you know, why so many truck mount models, and are the numbers accurate on truck mounts, and why the disparity. We could definitely easily cover that, and that could take up a conversation in itself. Okay, my hour is up. It just said an hour on Facebook here, this Facebook Live. I appreciate all y'all's participation. Any questions or problems, keep it up and let me know. And in the meantime, help me come up with a time you like. I'll redo this anytime you guys like, okay? What happened to your truck mount? I still have it, Octavia. Feel free to give me a call. Feel free to give me a call. I'll be glad to talk to you about it and tell you what's going on with it, okay? Be glad to, especially since you're in the region. Well, thanks a lot. Everyone have a great night. I'm going to cut this at the hour point, just like I said I was going to do. Everybody take care now.